Hello everybody, this is Tina with Tia's Treasures, and today I have for you another Halloween card. At time of recording, it is Friday the 13th, so I had to do a Halloween card. So anyway, what we are going to be using is this Boo die from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. We are going to be using the word Boo and some bats. And I already, what I did with this Boo was I took some, did I tear it? I might have. It doesn't matter though, because it's going to be glued down. I took some glow-in-the-dark embossing powder and I just swiped my embossing ink over it and then embossed it with the glow-in-the-dark embossing powder, and then I cut out the word Boo. And I also took some black cardstock and cut out 3 bats. I'm not sure if we're going to use all of them. We're also going to be using the Tim Holtz moon mask, and we're going to mask off a moon here. Similar to the last card I made, I did a moon, and we're going to be doing another moon with this card. And I am going to be using the Tim Holtz Spooky Spirits. I'm going to be using this center ghost right here, and I'm going to be using the sentiment, "Wait, you see me," in addition to the Boo glow in the dark. And so that's what we're going to do. But what I'm going to do with this ghost is I am going to stamp it on vellum. Now, I went ahead and I took a piece of cheap vellum that I had and I stamped it to see how that would look. And I fussy cut it out because I was curious. I've got a little bit thicker sheet of vellum here. It's from Simon Says. And I got a half a sheet of this. This is really thin vellum that I cut it out with first. But I'm going to stamp it on this and we're going to fussy cut it out. And it's going to go on the card. But the first thing we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to use this moon mask with, let's see, I've got some Distress Spray Stain in Uncharted Mariner. I've got some in Black Soot, and I do not have a purple in the spray stain, so I've got the Distress Mica Stain in Ominous Twilight. So let's go ahead and start that. Let me tape my moon down. Got some mint tape here. And we will tape this down and hope it stays put. And this doesn't really matter what side we glue down. I'm using my little cutout ghostie for reference. What did I do with my little vellum ghost I had? Just figures. I actually have a clean desk for a change, which is why I'm like, where'd it go? Okay, I want to make sure that we have room for our Boo. I'm afraid to pick it up now that it's like tearing on me on the bottom. So I want the Boo right about there and the ghost to be above it, because our sentiment is going to be the one that says, "Wait, you see me." It's going to be in black with white embossing or cream embossing maybe to match more the Boo. Actually, I could even do it in glow in the dark, but at any rate, it's going to go there so we can glue our ghost down without having the adhesive show. So, and we want our bats, but we can even do that up a little bit more. And I'm just using a piece of watercolor paper. I believe it is the Tim Holtz, or you know what? It might, it was on my desk, so I'm not 100% sure if this is Tim Holtz or if it's Canton XL. I would have to pull out a sheet of either one of them to see, but I don't really care that much because any watercolor paper will do just fine. So is that, it needs to go over just a little bit, and And I think that's good. Get that down. It's like, it looks like it might actually be sticking up a little bit. Let's do that again then. If it's sticking up, let's turn it over, because I think it's got a little curvature to it. And that's not good. Okay, it's flatter on my card now. And does that look even to you? Well, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna cut this card down most likely. I say that, but we'll see what we do. I could just measure it out. Okay, that looks good. Let's move our boo. I'm gonna start with some Distress Spray Stain in the Black Soot. Let me get my splat box down. Even though I've got this mat where I could go ahead and spray on, why not keep it a little cleaner? So let's spray that. Yes, and get this wiped down. And now we'll do our Uncharted Mariner. I like that. Definitely want to keep the Black Soot. And I love Uncharted Mariner. I think it's my favorite blue in the whole line. And now let's get our Ominous Twilight shaken up. As you can see, I think that's what this color is. I'm going to try just to get it on the bottom there. And we want to make sure we get all that mica, you know, shook up real good. And I don't see any, but I haven't shaken it that long. I had it laying on its side, which makes it a little easier to shake because all the mica ends up on the side here. It's thinner than if it's clumped on the bottom, which is what happens if you have them standing up. So anyhow, come on. Let's get that sprayed on the bottom there. Ooh. A little bit of top, that corner. Wipe that off, and I think I'm gonna use a little bit more Uncharted Mariner. I want to make sure we have good coverage right in these corners here. Okay, and we are going to let that dry. I could actually use my heat tool, but I think I'm just going to let it dry for a while. And then I will come back and take the mask off, and we will go from there. I'm gonna take this paper towel and try to get up some of this off the moon. Stain. Okie doke. Okay, now that we've got our little circle there, we are going to spritz it with water. I've got some marks here. When I pulled off my mask, I ended up dropping it, and I got a big ink spot here. And there was some more around here, which I'm able to erase most of it with a sand eraser. And the rest we're not going to worry about, because when we spritz this with water, it's going to just cover this up anyway. You're gonna see right here, get it nice and wet, and it's just gonna bleed in, and it's gonna be lovely. I just love that look. Come on now. To bleed a little bit more in. And now we're going to take the heat tool and dry that. Get that water moving a bit. That's really curling. It's going to curl back down once it heats up a bit more. Oh, look at that. Darn. It's really got that ink moving. Moved a little bit more than I wanted. Let's spritz a little bit more water on there. Let me get that moving just a bit more again. Want it to be a little bit more wispy. This to relax a little bit. Paper isn't supposed to have a memory, but mine sure does. That's a little warped, but it's not going to matter once we tape it down to our card base. We're going to try a little bit Lost Shadow, and it's what we're going to put under our moon mask here. Let's see. Put that right like that there. Gonna try some Lost Shadow on our moon. We can always go darker. So I skipped ahead a little bit, and I've got Lost Shadow all inside our little moon, and I think that color just works perfectly for what we're going for. There's this little spot right to the side of the moon, and I'm not sure where or when that happened, but I'm going to take a little bit of Uncharted Mariner and just a blending brush and cover that up a bit. This color is working perfectly to cover up that weird white spot that showed up. I don't know what that was from, but the Uncharted Mariner took care of it. And so I'm just making sure that it's got pretty good coverage. And then we're going to put this away and go from there. So I've got the sentiment, wait, you see me, and I'm taking that, and we're going to go ahead and use some clear embossing ink. Got some Simon Says ink here, and I'm going to ink that up pretty good. And what we're going to do then is we're going to emboss that, heat emboss it with some white embossing powder. Now I tried some glow-in-the-dark embossing powder, and I don't know if you know this, but I didn't know this. It goes on clear when it's on black cardstock. So I figured we better not use that, and I went to white. This white powder on there. And now that I've got that stamped out and we've got our powder on there, I'm going to go ahead and pour that back into the container. You know, waste not, want not. So that would have been a lot to waste too. Get that all in there and put away. And we're going to get this nice and heated up. I don't know about anybody else, but I absolutely cannot heat emboss anything without having it warp. No matter how careful I am or how quick I am, I always warp my paper. How about you? So anyway, I'm using some of these Simon Says dies for sentiment dies, and I cut out my little sentiment there. Got that to the side, and now I'm just going to glue down the paper. I'm going to glue that to our card base. Like I said, I thought originally I was going to cut it down, but I decided just to glue it on just flat, not to frame it out or anything. I'm just using a little bit of Gina K Connect glue here. I find it flows really nice, and I've got it in these little bottles, and I do like the way it doesn't clog up like some of my other glues. I'm going to be getting one of those precision glue presses, and I'm hoping I can use some of my other glues with that, because I have a whole lot of glue I've got to go through, but it's just it's getting harder on my hands to squeeze those bottles. I was using my Score Buddy here to help me get my background on nice and straight, and so I've got that glued down, and I think we're gonna put our little boo sentiment down next. Now we want to glue our boo down. Again, with me dropping everything all over. Oh, look, I did lose, gosh darn it. If this audio's a bit choppy, it's because I've had to do voiceovers in certain parts of it. I don't know what was going on with the audio, but so you've got me talking to the camera in spots where there's no voiceover, and then me having to actually do, you know, come back in when I'm editing and voice over a little bit what's going on. So that's why it might be a little weird in spots, and it seems like I'm going back and forth with what's being said. Kind of seems appropriate though to some of the trouble I had with this card. You know, it was just one more thing going on. And now my dog is whining, so I have to go and take care of him. we don't want my baby crying in the background. So after I get this boo glued down, I'm going to go ahead and use the original vellum ghost I had. I ran into some problems trying to use the thicker vellum I had, and it's no surprise. I ended up smearing the ink on it, and that's the type of luck I've been having with this card. And you. We're going to put this on the ghost first. Gonna put a little offset. So I get my ghost down exactly where I want it over that moon. And we've got the sentiment, you know, the glue behind the sentiment. So that's hiding the glue there. You're not going to see any of that. But you can see the moon peeking out from behind my ghost. So I just kind of love the way that looks. And I love that wait you see me sentiment, you know, over that transparent ghost. I just think that's the just cutest thing ever. I'm kind of going for a little bit of a creepy vibe, but I'm really getting more of a cute thing. So we're going to just position our bats now on this moon. And, you know, we need something else. I thought about trying to put a spider web over the moon as well, but I wasn't sure how that would look using some either gray or white ink. So I just decided we're going to go with bats. I don't want to risk, you know, trying to stamp over the moon and not liking it, and then we're stuck with it. So bats it is, and I like the 3 bats. That's a nice number, you know. Do things in 3s. I think it's pleasing to the eye. So we're going to get those glued down. So this is like the second Halloween card I've made this season, and I've got all this stuff to make a ton of Halloween cards, but it seems like I usually only end up making, you know, 4 or 5 or so. And I don't have a whole lot of people that I send Halloween cards to. I guess you can send them to anybody you send Christmas cards to, because why not? And they're fun. And I just love the season. There's just something about Halloween. I mean, I've never ever in my life sent out a Halloween card until I started making them, you know, I mean, getting into card making. But they are so much fun to make, and there's so many really either cute or scary or spooky different stamp sets you can buy depending on the different makers and stuff. And I love it. It does seem, though, like it doesn't matter how early you start making stuff. It seems like I always run out of time at the end, though. I always want to make a whole lot more Halloween stuff and a whole lot more Christmas stuff, but I'm always restricted by how quickly time goes. You know, it just like flies by. Here you can see I decided to put another little glue spot on my little ghost because it seemed like it was sticking up just a bit. And this glue is so fluid that I end up with, you can see the spot there on the bottom where I put it. Now you don't end up seeing it behind the eyes because I put such tiny little dots. But I'm going to come in with some blue jewels. Oh, my doggie's crying again. But I'm going to put some blue jewels over that little spot, and we're going to scatter a few around our card to try to cover up some of that. You can usually always find a way to cover up your boo-boos on these cards, you know, whether it's by putting a sentiment over it, or in this case, I'm just going to put some jewels over the top of my glue spot there. And I'm just, you know, loving the way it's going to turn out in the end. So if you've made it this far with me and you didn't mind my rambling or my whining dog, I would love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. Either way, if you could give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, and I am trying to get seen a little bit more. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You'll have to let me know. But I do enjoy making these videos, so hopefully I can find time to keep making them for you. So I had to stop editing this video again because my dog was getting visibly upset again for no reason. He's just being a goofball. He's on my lap now, and so I'm trying to figure out where I was. I think we're just putting some jewels on this card, and we're going to be finishing up with it. I do end up stamping on the inside just a boo sheet, which I thought was just really just cracked me up when I thought about
the outside sentiment of wait, you see me, and then the glow in the dark boo. So then we've got like a boo sheet on the inside. And it's just this card, I love the way it glows in the dark. And I'm going to turn off the light here. So, oh, I guess I do show myself stamping the boo sheet on the inside. But after I'm done stamping this, I am going to turn off the light, and you are going to see for just a few seconds the nice way it glows in the dark.
Boo sheet. Okay. Wait, you see me? Boo sheet. So anyway, that's it for today. And I should be back soon with another Halloween card. And bye-bye for now, everybody.